Yo, 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 what is going on out there, everybody? It is on once again. It is Don't Jump, the podcast with your host, Patrice Epting. Say what's up to the people, baby.
That's me. What's up, everybody?
And of course, it's your boy, Willie Epting Jr. And we are here because we're going to be dropping some nuggets.
Coming to you live. I always wanted to say that.
Say it again. You can say it again.
Coming to you live.
Coming to you live. We are live. As a matter of fact, we are live on Facebook, and LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram TV through the Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions Instagram page, as well as Twitter.
Tweet, tweet.
All right, baby. So we're going to drop some nuggets. We're going to be on here for a few minutes this afternoon, and I am so glad that we are here. Hopefully, we can pour some things into some folks and get some people on the right track. But before we do that, you know what we have to do? We already, we're not going to do that, what I always say we do whenever we do a show, but we do need you guys to do this. It is very critical and very important that y'all help us out because this is what we do. And this is what we're going to be doing. And it is so important and helpful to us for you guys just to go out there and do a couple things for us. The first thing we need you to do is we're going to welcome you first and foremost. Shakeback Media Group.
Welcome. And welcome to Life Coaching Solutions. Don't
that's
jump.
Right.
Life Coaching Solutions.
And I'm gonna do that again. Welcome, because my wife has a tendency to get out in front of me. So welcome. We want you guys to subscribe. We want you to like, and we want you to hit the bell for all brand new content. So, baby, I'm so happy that we're doing this. There's nobody in life I would rather do this with. We're gonna talk about okay. How about you tell the people that's out there watching and will be listening through all of your podcast platforms what we're going to be kind of discussing a little bit today?
We're going to be discussing us, the couple, the combined two, how we met, how we got together. How is he, me, and me, he? How are we? That's what we're discussing today.
That's a lot of what is that? Pronouns? Yes, that's a lot of pronouns.
Appropriate pronouns.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't say it. I'm glad you didn't call me a it. That would have been
today.
A problem. Not today. Maybe you know what? The stuff that she says to me off air, guys, really and truly, it is what makes us who we are, and it makes us do what we do. So as she stated, we're going to be talking about us, and we're going to drop some nuggets here. Of course, you guys can always go to don'tjump.net. We are offering 20% off for the first 10 clients that either want to be coached or want to become a client. So
we are certified life coaches.
Right. So go to don'tjump.net. Our landing page is there. So what we're going to talk about today, Patrice, is how we met. And as we were putting this outline together or this production schedule together, I couldn't help but chuckle because of some things that you said after we had actually started dating. And let's just start. Let's
give them some context.
Well, that's what I want to do. I want to first start out by saying how we met.
Okay. Well, we could talk about how we met, but Willie Epting Jr. is my better half. He's my husband of 13 years.
Oh, gosh.
12? Okay. The years are so great, I can't even count them anymore. How about that?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
And we met in an unusual way. Maybe the thing that people are doing now, but I think it was when it was just got started, and we met through Match.com.
And what's funny about us meeting on Match.com, y'all, is that we both signed up for the free 30-day trial. Now,
that's right.
I had tried Match before, but it was matchless because obviously I'm not with that person or those in the. I shouldn't say that. Let's just say it didn't work out.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Nope, nope,
Let's
nope, nope.
clear it up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Let me take the mic, sir.
Go
Let's
ahead.
clear it up. So, yes, we met on Match.com. We both were in a 30-day trial. But what I didn't know is that he had many 30-day trials, or at least a couple before me. And I was not the first 30-day trial, but I will be the last.
Right. And it's interesting that you say that.
You have to be more convincing with that, right?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna be authentic as I possibly can. And what I will say is, yes, there was a subscription before you, and like you said, there was no more subscriptions anywhere after you.
Okay,
Get that
then.
look off your face. So here we are, and we met on Match.com, and I had said to myself, I said, Willie, this is it. If this doesn't work, you are not going to, it's not going to work out for you. Love has come and gone, and that's it. And I don't know, well, I didn't know at the time what Patrice's mindset was, but I'll let her tell you if she did have one at that point, what her expectations were, and what led it going from, well, what led up to the first date.
Okay. Well, I only got on Match because some friends of mine said, why don't you do Match? And I thought that was weird. I was like, I don't know. There's some weirdos out there. And they're like, well, there's weirdos everywhere. So I only started the free trial because some friends I work with said, oh, you should do that and see how you like it. And so I started the 30-day trial, and there were some weirdos, and then there was Willie.
And they are not one and the same, are they?
Not today. Not today. I do want to say this. Wait, I do want to say this. So with Match.com, there you have your profile, and you say some things about yourself, but you also have some pictures. So on Willie's pictures, okay, I kid you not, his picture, one picture, he looked really sweet and endearing, and another picture, he looked like the Unabomber. And I thought, this is odd, but interesting. And but I decided to give him a chance based on the one picture he had with his family. And I said, oh, he's a family guy. And I remember what he had on. Do you remember? In the photo?
In the picture.
Not the Unabomber one.
Not with the family. I had on an orange t-shirt with some black cargo shorts and some, orange t-shirt, polo t-shirt with some black cargo shorts and some white and orange Air Max.
And a smile.
Oh, and a smile.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What about mine? Do you remember my profile?
Oh my gosh, man. Let me tell y'all something about this woman here. She had on this bright yellow shirt, and she was standing in front of a fence that bordered her mom's yard and her mom's neighbor's yard. And the first time I clicked on the profile, all I saw was this electric smile. And I said, oh my gosh, this one right here, she is bad AF. Ain't that what the kids say? Ain't that what the kids say?
They may say worse now.
I was like, okay, so that is the first thing that captured me. And can I go to the next step, or do you want to go to the next step?
Let's go to the next step.
All right, so the next step, of course, was to
was the date.
No. You message each other through Match.com's
like a chat.
That's exactly how you should describe it. That is exactly what it is. It's like a chat.
And he was
And
funny. You
and
were
I was
funny.
funny. I was funny, and I could tell she was a little standoffish because I had done this before. Actually, this wasn't the first, second, or third time that I had done this. So I was just kind of playing it cool. But at this point in my life, I was like, yo, I'm not dating, or I'm not out here just trying to get me a hit and run, or I'm not dating just to be dating. I'm dating to marry.
Yeah, that
So
went
I
over.
could tell she was huh?
Keep going.
Oh, so I could tell she was a little standoffish, which is fine. You know, everybody has their hangups. And so we talked, and then we finally exchanged numbers after like a week. I was like, let me get her number. And I don't want to go too far into, well, I want to get to this part, but I don't want to go too far into it after that, because we gotta leave the people wanting more.
Well, I'll
So
say the conversation was engaging. Like I said, you were funny. It was funny enough and engaging enough for me to continue the conversation. And I thought, oh, okay, he seems like an intelligent, smart person. Seems nice, but dot dot dot. It was always the dot. I was very skeptical.
right. And that was because of what reason?
Because there's weirdos out there. That's
Exactly.
why.
But see, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is
And I
this.
was a mother of 3,
Mhm,
and I was being very careful,
mhm.
as you should.
As you should. Now, we're not telling anybody to be out there, to go out there and be reckless.
Not at all.
Not at all. And what she said is 100% true, because there are weirdos out there.
But be
And there's not,
open and intelligent.
but there's, and I need my brethren to hear when I say this, that there's some weird ladies out there too. I mean, trust me, I know. I ran into them. And huh?
I'm just listening.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
there's weird ladies.
And I was
It goes both ways.
I was a single dad of 2 boys. So, you know, we had at least, you know, I'm always talking about points of unity in several different aspects, but this was our point of unity, and it's just the revelation really that just hit me, that
What's that?
was a point of unity for us even at that time, and us not even know it, right?
What part?
The fact that we were both single parents, and we were kind of leery, although I played it, you know, player about mine. I'm not going to even front.
You was player about it, huh?
I was player about mine. I'm not going to even front, but at the same time, you know,
Like
you
that
go
Martin player, or that player that Martin plays? Player.
no,
No,
that's not from
wrong one.
that's the player from the Himalayas. I wasn't that, because I got all my teeth. But what I'm saying is that, just to get to the meat of it, is that was a point of unity for us that we didn't even know, because at that point in time, in the beginning, it's the beginning, and you don't know where it's going to go, how it's going to go, if it's going to end abruptly, if it's going to last the way that it did, or whatever the case may be. So be that as it may, we kept communicating, and then I finally worked up the nerve to ask for her phone number, and so she
Did I
gave
give it to you?
Yes, you gave it to me.
Okay.
You gave it to me like after a week. I said, okay, cool. But then here's where I got really confused. I called her, and she said, hey, I'm going to call you back. Can I call you back in a few minutes, or whatever it was? And I said, yeah, of course. Y'all, when I tell y'all, that was the longest few minutes I had ever experienced in my life.
It was longer than a few minutes.
It was like 2 weeks later when she finally called back. And I was like, okay, she obviously wasn't interested. So let me just move on. But at that point in time,
ghost
go ahead,
you?
babe.
Did you think I ghosted you?
Yeah, I did. Honestly, I thought I did. And the thing is, because again, it's weirdos. You know, you're divorced. You've had some failed relationships, so you start to automatically think that it's you did or didn't do. So I was just thinking, okay, well, she just wasn't interested, so I'm gonna move on. But at that point in time, the 30-day trial was about to be up, and then she finally called me back. And do you remember what you said to me when you called me back?
I do not.
I don't either.
Well, I think I think when I called you back, you said it's been 2 weeks. Why haven't you called me? And I think I didn't go into great details, but at the time, I think I was going through some medical issues.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Uh-huh. And then, and you took it in stride. You're like, oh, okay. We just continued the conversation as if the 2 weeks hadn't happened.
Yeah, and I was excited, but I knew that I need to temper my excitement because of
The
what it
2 week
was.
drought.
No, just because of what it was. I mean, the whole online meeting somebody online dating thing is, it was pretty fresh back then. And when we say back then, y'all, we've been married for almost 12 years, and we've been together for nearly 14. So we can say that back then now. But so after that, there came I remember it like it was yesterday because my youngest son, Cameron, was on the step team at A.W. Brown, and they had a championship stepping competition in Atlanta that me and my oldest son drove to from Dallas. So we drove to Atlanta. We stopped in Mississippi where my parents stay at, and we hung out with them for a little while, and then we got on the road and went on to Atlanta. But while on the road to Atlanta from Jackson, I called Patrice, and she sent me a couple of more pictures. We talked from like Birmingham, Alabama,
Okay,
all the way
I have
into
to
Atlanta.
pause. Let's pause.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
today, when you say she sent me some pictures, they're thinking I sent you some pictures. Face shots. Okay, nothing else.
I
Let's
don't think
get it straight.
I
Yes,
don't
they
think they were.
did. Look
I
at that
don't.
person right there. Look, that person thought it. That person thought it. Somebody else was thinking it.
Oh, okay. Well, be that as it may.
Face shots.
We got some people commenting, so we're gonna get to that in just a second. But yeah, it wasn't that, ladies and gentlemen. I was driving at the time, and we talked for like from Birmingham to Atlanta is 2.5 hours, maybe 3.
You were very engaging.
Yeah,
You were very engaging, very funny. You knew how to carry a conversation, and I really like that. Now, before I didn't mention, before this, I had dated not. I don't want to say dated. I went on a couple of dates, but I discovered what I didn't want from the couple of dates that I had. And what was important for me is for someone that I was equally yoked with, someone who believed in God and was a Christian and practiced that. And, and someone made me laugh.
mm-hmm.
And so you did all those things, and we discussed those things, and we were able to have a conversation. So it was just easy. It was very easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree 100%. And I had the same sentiments at that time. So, I mean, and I'll tell you right now, we already been doing this for 18 minutes, and we were only supposed to be on for 10. So,
We hadn't even gotten to the first date yet.
yeah, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna temper this because we want to make sure that we give you guys enough content. Number one, to understand that if it happened for us, it can happen for you. You just have to have 2 willing hearts and 2 willing souls. And I want to get some revelationary type stuff as well. But when I got back from Atlanta, when me and my son got back from Atlanta, I called her up and we went out on a date. We met at
Starbucks.
where did we meet? We met at Starbucks. And fellas, let me just tell y'all something. If you really are dating to like have a significant other, don't make the woman, or do not put the woman in a position to do most of the work or most of the driving. So what I say that to say this: at that time, I lived in Southwest Dallas, right across the street from Duncanville High School, and she lived in Mesquite, which is really a 40-minute drive. And I met her at the Starbucks that was down the street from her apartment. And we went there, and when she showed up, my mouth just okay. I got to do this. This is what my mouth did. All right.
What did it do?
It did like this.
You got to watch in order to see it. He's close your mouth. Close your mouth. His mouth is open.
That's what I did when I saw her. And then I was like, this chick is out of my league, man.
Is that what you thought?
I thought this chick is out of my league. But again, I was player about mine. I couldn't let that on, right?
Right.
So then what? We were talking. We both had on our sunglasses. Yours was scratched up. I said, your glasses were scratched up. And
Don't
we kept
remember
talking.
this.
And see, here's another thing too. I don't even like Starbucks, but I knew she did because her Match.com name was French Almond, which I related to coffee. So okay, so you got to pay attention to these things, fellas. You got to pay attention to these things. So anyway, so we went there and we talked and we talked and we talked, and then what happened?
And then we talked and we talked and we talked, and then it was dark, and you said, "Hey, have you eaten? Would you like to move this to a restaurant and we can continue talking?" At that point, I could have said, "No, nice talking to you. See you later." But like he said, the conversation was smooth. He had his player about him. He had me laughing. So if you were talking about my glasses, I guess I did laugh about it because maybe they were. And it was as if we had just sat down, but it had been a couple of hours. So then we moved to a place to eat. And where do we go? We ended up going
Genghis
to
Grill.
Genghis Grill, which was my first time going to Genghis Grill.
I had
And
been there several times, but not with other women.
So he says, but it doesn't matter. So we get to Genghis. We're eating, we're laughing, we're talking. We were sizing each other up.
Continue.
That's it. We were sizing each other up. He liked what he saw. I liked what I saw. It was one thing that I said, about, and I was going to keep it on my radar. But overall, the date was a 8.5 out of 10.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. That's like a B plus. That's higher than any years I had since I was in the 8th grade.
In your real grades.
Right. So then after that, I mean, it was a great first date. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I told her this like years later. I stopped at the store and I got some gas because I needed to get back home because I live like 35 miles from her. And so it was basically a long distance relationship, even though we both lived in the Dallas area.
Not really.
We both lived in the Dallas area. But I stopped at the gas station and got some gas. And first person I called was my brother. And my brother was my best man at our wedding. And I called him and I said, yo, man, I now know what they mean when they say love at first sight. He said, what do you mean? I said, man, I just had a date with this chick that I met on .com, and the conversation was dope, and she was absolutely beautiful. I was like, I could not stop thinking about her. And he was like, no, man, you playing, because my brother knows how I was. My sisters know how I was. So he's like, nah, man, you lying. But again, in my mind, like I said at the beginning of the show,
you were ready though.
Exactly. At this point, I'm ready. I know I'm ready. And being
the
ready,
pieces just had to match.
Yeah, it was too many trying to fit a circle hole into a round peg. No, a square peg into a circle hole. But anyway, so then we went on and we continued talking, and then we went on another date that we'll get into on the next episode.
Another time.
Yeah, we'll get on that on the next episode, and we're going to be doing this every Tuesday, guys. And before we leave every episode, we will drop a couple of nuggets.
And do we have any questions? I would love some questions. You guys can listen, subscribe, and put in your questions.
Yeah, that would be dope, because we really do want this to be interactive as much as we possibly can. And let's just say this too: this is a safe space, even though we're live. I mean, it's still a safe space. No question is dumb. No question is stupid. No question is embarrassing. I can tell you that Patrice and I have made all the mistakes that anybody else could ever make,
and we're open books.
And that brings me to my first point of the conversation that we were supposed to talk about a long time ago, but we didn't.
And that's okay.
So let me ask a question. babe, let me ask a question.
Okay.
We are life coaches, certified life coaches with a niche in blended families.
Right.
And blended families, of course, is when you have
I had my
uh
3 kids, you had your 2 kids, and we were trying to blend in our relationship, then our marriage. And it could be hard, and it could be difficult and challenging in different ways, but we want to help you navigate through it if you're dealing with the same thing, so we can help you get to the other side.
yeah, so here's my question. What is the origin of a blended family? And you may not know the answer because I just thought of this earlier and I was like, I'm gonna ask her this on the spot because it's gonna create a bunch of dialogue. Where does a blended family or how does a blended family originate?
That's interesting that you asked that. These are the type of questions that you would have. This is the type of conversation because I have an answer. Do you have an answer? And
I
all of
got
our answers could be different.
Yeah. So what is your answer?
When I think of blended families, you may agree or may not agree, but I think about Jesus and I think about Mary and I think about um, the fact that he wasn't born through natural ways. So hence blended family from the start.
Mhm.
What were you thinking?
That's a very good point. And there is really and truly there is no wrong answer. There is
Mhm.
no wrong answer. I'm actually going to go back further than that. I'm going to
Okay.
go back to the very beginning of time, or to the first humans on Earth, which is, of course, Adam and Eve. The
Okay.
reason why the family starts with the husband and the wife. That's where the family starts. And it's blended because you have a husband that comes from a type of family, and then you have the wife that comes from a different type of family.
Mm.
So, being the fact that they're both different, you're blending them together even before any children even come in,
Just with marriage.
just with marriage itself. That's where the family starts.
Wow, that's a good
So,
I like that.
yeah, so and it is it is significantly complicated but very simple at the same freaking time
Mhm.
because we go back to the beginning. God created what? Adam and Eve. So he blended, even though they came from heaven together, all of us came from heaven together, but due to the world stuff and how we were raised and family values differing from family to family, you're going to automatically be blended when two people come together as one,
True.
simply because of all of those other dynamics.
Mhm.
So that's where I want to start with this. And I think that is enough, babe, for people to chew on because I want to ask everybody out there a question. What was your family dynamic like? And I don't mean your a family dynamic with a significant other. I mean a family dynamic in the house that you grew up in.
Mhm.
Let's start there. Start there with the family dynamic that you grew up in. And
Mhm.
for anybody out there that's watching and will ultimately be listening to this, and we're gonna do clips and all these other kind of things, but this is important because in order for us to get wherever we want to go, we got to figure out where we came from.
Mhm.
So that's the first assignment. Figure out or deep dive into your family dynamic. How was your
Your
family
origin.
structure? Yeah. So for Patrice, she comes from a two-parent household.
Mhm.
Her mom and her dad, they had a significant age difference, right?
They
I
did.
can say I can say this, right? Because it's
Yes.
true.
Mhm.
Okay. And I come from a two-parent household. My mom is actually 2 years older than my dad, and my wife is 2 years older than me. So you didn't think
I
I was gonna
did
let that
say
pass,
we
did you?
That's okay.
You didn't think I was gonna let that pass. So her family structure, because of there was significant age difference between her mom and her dad, it is automatically going to be different from mine. And then my parents were high school sweethearts. They're from the same hometown. And so that's where we have to start when we start thinking about who am I and what am I bringing to the table in terms of searching for a mate.
Mm-hmm. And how does that really impact what you look for, how you look for it, what you accept, what you don't accept, how you blend and how you don't blend.
Yeah.
All those things are important.
All those things are important. And
we can dig deeper into this time.
Yes, we can dig deeper into that the next time. So
come back on Tuesday.
I actually wanted to ask you if you, because we bit off a lot today and we only got to like the first half of a topic. We already 30 minutes in, but I want you guys out there to hear our hearts. When we're talking, we have so much love and affection and respect for one another. Has it always been that way? No. People look at us and they say, man, they got together. Well, they don't know the Guns N' Roses about our marriage and our relationship.
Guns N' Roses.
The Guns N' Roses wasn't 3 years ago. The Guns N' Roses was last week.
I thought it was yesterday.
But it might happen again before we go to sleep. But
that's right.
But
I love this guy.
Do not let the sun set on your wrath. That I think is in Galatians or Ephesians, one of those two, but Paul wrote that, and it is critically important. Okay, Patrice, I don't want to give away too much. Again, don'tjump.net. Go there and you can sign up for a consultation. It's complimentary. Again, we're offering 20% off for the first 10 people that sign up with us. We would love to talk with you. We would love to help you. We're going to give you enough information to make an informed decision. And we're going to keep on riding this thing till the wheels go bald and they fall off. That's what Bun B said. So, babe, you have any final thoughts before we get out of here? You're muted. You're muted. We've been doing this for a long time. She's still muted. There you go. Wait a minute. You're still muted. You're still muted over there. Why is it's blinking off and on? You gonna make me do your final thoughts? Oh my gosh. It is not that technically challenging, I'm sure. Okay, so she's gonna get up and she's gonna come into where I am, and I guess we're gonna do this together. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. There she is saying yo, and there's the hashtag brother of baseball Mike Fuji, also known as Rocky Balboa. He's from Philly, babe. So he's a part of the baseball. Yeah, hey, yo, Adrian. So he's part of the baseball show. So your final thoughts, babe. Go ahead.
My final thoughts. I was having some technical difficulty, but final thoughts are: if you're interested, if you have someone you think that may enjoy this podcast, or just get some few nuggets from what we're talking about, join in. Come see us next week. We're going to be here. We're going to be chatting it up. We're going to be talking about our origin story so you can perfect yours, or at least talk about it or add to it.
And not only that, we're going to continue to provide nuggets on how to go from step to step to step. I actually had that in the outline, but we're not going to get to that today. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and take care of these bills, because Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions is sponsoring Don't Jump the podcast. It's presented exclusively by the Shakeback Media Group. And this is what we want to tell you guys right about now. Go.
Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of your next step in life? It's time to take charge with Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions. I'm Patrice Epting, and alongside Willie, we're certified life coaches here to guide you through life's toughest challenges.
Whether it's mental health, relationships, or shifts in mindset, we'll help you discover your purpose and move forward with confidence.
confidence. Life doesn't have to hold you back. Take the leap with Don't Jump Life Coaching Solutions.
Schedule your free consultation today by calling 469-358-5241.
Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of your next step in life? It's time to take charge with Don't Jump Life Coaching.
Okay, so you guys get the gist of it. The phone number was mentioned there in the commercial. Don'tJump.net is where you can go and find us and get your sign up on. Babe, I think this was a pretty good episode. We got a lot of people watching us. So anything you want to say before we jump out?
See you next week.
See you guys next week. And with that being said, we are out. Y'all holler, y'all take care of each other.
Love each
Y'all
other.
hug each other.
And love each other.
And we will holler at y'all again real soon. Peace me out.
The blast cause hazardous gas and mass radiation. The public panic due to lack of information that made a killer situation, feeling ill of civilization. So you see in the basement takes a scientific nation to fail. Blind communities, they reading in braille. Politicians with the skin and scales, pigtails, sending soldiers and ship and sailors, sunken city, divers and trails. Down below, search for survivors, there's no people for several miles. Desert towns surround ground zero. Reach down, holding a beat.